Icon 50.
Okay guys, so right here is I was showing you in a previous video where you put your cable back onto your transmission. I'm not gonna be able to do that just yet. Even when I'm finished with this vehicle, I'm not gonna able to put my cable back on because my cable runs right here where my bracket goes onto my my transmission mount here. So I have to order the bracket to come so I could put this back on and put my and mount it back onto my transmission mount here, and then on top of it, that's where the cable runs and comes up and come here. And right now I have it in neutral, but I'm gonna put it into park and I'm gonna show you guys how easy it is. All right, so now I'm in park. You know, 1 down is reverse and 2 down is neutral. All right, and you could hear it click in the transmission as well. So always make sure when you're putting on your CV axle, because I see a lot of times people damage their differential because they try to force their CV axle in, and when it can't go in, they also I see videos where they use hammer to knock it in, and it will go in, but guys, when it goes in, I guarantee you it's gonna damage your differential and all your bearings and everything inside here. So you want to do it the right way, and the right way to install or uninstall your CV axle, passenger side or driver side, guys, is to always put your vehicle in neutral. All right, never have it in park. Always put it in neutral, that it goes in freely. And I'm gonna walk you guys around here and I'm gonna show you what we guys gonna be working on today. All right guys, so you can see my differential and everything like that. And one of the things, like I said, that we're living in a sandy area, so and you're working with grease and sand, so always make sure when you're reinstalling your CV axle, the part that goes into your drive shaft and goes into your differential, guys, you want to make sure it's clean. And right now, I know you guys can't see it, but I'm gonna show you guys when you put the car in neutral, what it looks like. And if you look right through your differential right there, you can actually see on the other side, you see that light that's going through your differential right there, guys. That's when you know your vehicle is in neutral and everything is lined up properly, and you get your CV axle in without any issues. So I'm gonna put this down, guys, and I'm gonna put my CV axle in, and I'm gonna show you how, guys, how I put my CV axle in and how easy it is. And like I said, there's a bracket on it, and you want to make sure that your CV axle has no sand or anything like that. And if you feel any sand on it, always have my little cleaning rags, guys. Always got my little cleaning rags. Oh, hold on, guys. So like I said, guys, you want to make sure that the part of your CV axle that goes into your differential, your drive shaft, is all nice and clean, and there's no sand on it. Like I said, we live in a sandy area, so you want to make sure it's nice and clean and free of debris and sand and all that stuff. And I just lift my CV axle up like this, guys, and I just do like this. And when you're putting it in, you have to guide the bracket. There's a bracket here, and you have to guide the bracket, because once you put it in, the bracket is gonna fall down, and you don't want it falling down. And the bracket is also a guide to let you know when your CV axle is completely into your drive shaft or your differential. So I still have some more ways to go in it, but I'm gonna keep pushing. And like I said, guys, you don't want to force anything. You just keep on pushing until you get down there, and just like that, guys. And the bolt, it carries 3 bolts, guys, and they're all M10 16 millimeters. 16 millimeters are M10, and 2 goes up top, 1 goes at the bottom. And these bolts right here, guys, there's and you can get to both of them and from this side, but it's easier to get to the both of them. The next 2 on the driver's side, the one on the passenger side you can always get to easy from here, but the one on the driver's side, you want to go up underneath the vehicle to get those, because it's easier to get it from there. And that's why I haven't connected my exhaust system as yet, because the exhaust system is gonna be in the way. And if I go ahead and install my exhaust system before I put this in, I'm gonna have a lot of problem to get it in. So I try to get these out of the way before I put my exhaust system back together. And like I said, guys, you can catch, if you're skillful enough, you can catch all 3 bolts from here on the passenger side. But when you're gonna tighten it up, because all these things are in the way and you're not gonna have any room to work with, as you can see, it's a tight space. So if you work in the 2 screws on the driver's side, from this side is just a feel. It's just a matter of feel. You can't see them, you can't see anything. It's just a matter of feel. But if you can feel it, and your bolts are nice and clean and smooth and not and free of rust, you can actually screw these bolts down by hand, as far as your hand can carry it. And because right now there's a lot of pressure on it, and what I like to do, I like to catch the top bolt and the bottom bolt first. I catch the top bolt on the driver and the passenger side, and then I catch the bottom bolt on the driver's side. And once I catch those 2, I can go ahead and catch the one on the driver's side. Like I said, there's 2 bolts on the top and there's 1 at the bottom, and they all the same size. They're all 10 millimeter. They are M10, sorry, and they're 15 millimeters. Not 16 millimeters. I'm sorry, guys, I told you earlier on 16 millimeters. They're 15. I mean, the 16 millimeters can fit, but when you when you're gonna tighten them up, it's gonna start spinning. I mean, the 16 millimeter can only screw them down to tightening range, but when you get to the tightening range, then it's not gonna tighten them up. The 15 millimeter is the right one. And as you can see, if you look here, I have limited room to work with, but I can still use my wrench, but I only can use it to certain dimension, and that's why I have my my swivel head, half-inch swivel head. This swivel head can go in all different direction, guys. It can go, you know, like a 360, man. And I love this, and this is what I use underneath the bottom. And like I said, once I catch this screw on this side, I'm gonna go up underneath the vehicle and I'm gonna catch the next screw at the next side at the bottom, and you try to bolt them down zigzag. You don't want to catch the two top ones and not catching the bottom one, and you don't want to catch the bottom one without having to catch either one of the top ones. But you don't want to catch the two on the driver's side and leave the one on the passenger side, because then again you're gonna have a zigzag, and then when you drive in your vehicle, you're gonna feel your steering wheel start vibrating because it's not properly bolted in, and one side is down more than the other, and you want to make sure it's all even. And that's why there's a guide here. A lot of vehicle doesn't carry the guide on the CV axle, but I love this vehicle because it has a guide, and it's the longer side, and it makes sense that they would put a bracket guide on the CV axle, so you know, because you don't want to use your bearing, assembly and all your rotors and everything as a guide. You use that as a last resort, and you don't want to put those back together until you know that this is properly installed and tightened down and everything. And these doesn't really have a specific torque spec, guys. You just tighten them to the best of your ability, because like I said, there's limited space up underneath here, and your torque wrench may or may not work. You know, it depends on how you attack, what angle you attack it from, and you know, you're gonna get a limited turn on your torque wrench. So you know, you just tighten them to the best of your ability. You don't want to over tighten them, you don't want to under tighten them. You know, you turn them and tighten them, and you know, you as a do-it-yourself mechanic or a professional mechanic, you know, you're tightening a bolt or a nut or a screw, you know when to stop. You know when enough is enough. You know, and it's rather you have that little bit more turn to tighten it a little bit more than you tighten it too much, and then you can't get it to unbolt. So guys, this is how you and see, now I got to a point where this cannot work anymore, so I'm gonna use my swivel head, and I'm gonna put my swivel head up in here, guys, and my swivel head is gonna do the rest of the job. And I think I have the wrong I have a 16 millimeter socket in here, and it's supposed to be a 15 millimeter, but like I said, the 16 millimeter will bolt it down, but it's not gonna tighten it, and you don't want to attempt to use a 16 millimeter socket to tighten a 15 millimeter bolt, because it's just gonna round the head up, and next time when you're trying to change a CV axle, it's gonna have problem to come out, and you're probably gonna have to cut those bolts out. So you want to use the proper tool. If you have them, you know, you use the proper tool. And as you can see, guys, I have this side down, and what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go underneath the vehicle, because I still have it jacked up and I have it on the jack stand. And like I told you guys in my earlier video, that never attempt to go up underneath your vehicle without using the proper procedure. Even though I have a jack underneath there, guys, even though I have this jack up underneath here, and then see, I didn't put it on my engine, on my transmission, guys. I didn't put it on my engine, on my transmission. What I did, I put it on my cross member right there, right in the middle of my cross member, and that will support both sides of my my vehicle. Socket to get up in here, because It's easier to get it from here, guys. It's really easy to get it from here. And I just put the little sharp extension on it. And I just take my time and I work, because why I'm using this little short this little short one is because it's easier to it's easier to maneuver in here, underneath here. And like I said, guys, I like screws that I can get done with my hand, and if I can get most of my bolts done with my hand, that would be a plus for me. But that's not the case, and I'm working on both screws. I'm trying to get both screws even down, but as soon as I get down, I'm gonna put most of the tightening on the bottom screw, because what I do, I don't want to when you do that and you put two screws in and you leave one unscrewed, then it gets so tight. So what I try to do is try to get the both of them down evenly, and it makes it easier for me to just, you know, effortlessly swing my wrench, because like I said, there's no way you're gonna get a power tool up in here, big or small, unless you're gonna get unless you're gonna take your exhaust off to do that, and you don't want to do that, because now you're gonna have to put this back on from underneath here. And that's why I showed you guys in my earlier video why I put my catalytic converter. I put my catalytic converter on onto the back of here, and everything that needed to go back here, because the only thing that really goes back here on the engine block is really the catalytic converter. The harness is one harness, and like I did, it's a pain in the butt to put your O2 sensors on from underneath here too, but you know, if you're changing your O2 sensors, this is where you'd have to come to change the both of them. And the top one is not so hard to get out, it's the one at the bottom, because the top one does mainly most of the work, you know. So that one is always changeable than the bottom one. But when I'm changing my O2 sensors, I change all four of them, because this SUV uses four, two in the front and two in the rear, two upstream, two downstream, but they're all the same. The upstream and the downstream sensors, O2 sensors, they're all the same, guys. And like I said, this working under here is not gonna done in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, because you there's limited space up underneath here. You can't get the power tool up underneath here. Guys, you just have to take your time and get your screws in. And what I'm trying to do is get my bottom one in so it doesn't pop back out. I don't want it to move. I don't want this bracket to move at all, because it sit very well in here right now, and that's how I want it to be. And I'm trying to inspect to make sure. Yep. And the way they make this, guys, the way they make the bracket can't move. It sits on a groove right here that it can't go back and forth. So it's in the perfect spot where it needs to be. And that's one of the thing I love about this SUV. Because if the bracket wasn't on it right now, I would have to hold this CV axle up in order to put it back into my my bearing assembly, into my bearing, and to get the lug the nut back on it. But this as a guide now, you know, help it to stay in place. And once this is in place, guys, when you put in your nut on and you're tightening up your nut, it can pull your CV axle out and you can push it in, because this right here, this bracket right here, holds it and prevent it from doing that. So, and like I said, guys, you just gotta tighten these up to the best of your ability and not too tight, because it's going into aluminum. It's going all the way into the engine block, and you don't want to break this screw off in the engine block, because if you break this screw off in the engine block, you know, you're gonna have to take your engine block out again to get that screw out, that bolt out. And if you can't get it out, you know, I mean, I know 2 bolts can work because the 2 bolts are tight, but they put the 3 in there for a reason. Normally, if I get a bolt break off down in here, it depends on which one of the bolt broke. You know, if it's one of the top bolt that's broken, you know, and it's and it's like the right side, the passenger side bolt is broken, I could always live with that. But if it's the driver side top bolt that's broken, no, I'm gonna have this thing unbalanced, because the two bolts would only be on the driver side, and there will be no bolt on the passenger side. So, and there's no room underneath here to even attempt to get that bolt out if it's broken. So it's always good to under tighten your bolt than over tighten them, you know. Yeah, I know a lot of us want to play the macho man and and tighten these things up, but you know, they all have their torque for a reason, and I still have to come back to my oil pan and torque my oil pan bolts. And I know my oil pan bolts, I think they're 35 to 37 foot-pounds. So I screwed them down yesterday, and I pour some more oil, engine oil, up in there and let it sit, and check it this morning to see if there was any leak, you know, because I had cracked this pan open yesterday. I didn't take it all the way down, but I cracked all bolts open, and it separated from the gasket, the oil pan gasket, but the gasket didn't shift, so that is a good thing. And like I said, guys, you don't want to over tighten these things, and I'm gonna see if I can reach this one from up underneath here, so I don't have to go back over to there, guys. Like I said, these swivel heads, they work wonders, man. And I have the long one and I have the short one, but this one I like because this one is like a 360. The long one is like only a 180. It goes up and down, but this one can spin all around like a 360, and it can even go straight, guys. That's why I love this one. And like I said, this thing cost me this one piece cost me $42 at AutoZone, and I got it on sale that day, because if I didn't get it on sale, it would be like $50 something for this. And it didn't come with any socket, it didn't come with any extension. It was just it was just the winch head itself just came. Nothing came with it, but I had to get it, guys, because at the time when I got it, I needed it for the job that I wanted to do, because I was working on my little Chevy Cobalt, and you know, I needed to get down into certain areas, guys. And this thing is awesome, man.